Hey, Scott from Bluetooth Breakdown, video 1. Then we're going to review the JBL Clip 2 versus the Polk Boom Jr. Swimmer. They're both water resistant. They're both very popular. We're going to review the sounds. We're going to review whether they're waterproof or not. We're going to figure out other options that they have. We're redoing it all. Stand by. So here is the JBL Clip 2. JBL was purchased a long time ago by a company called Harman, I believe is their name. But they kept the JBL original name because it's got such a strong brand. This is it here. It's coated in like a rubber substance. It's a rubber coating. The buttons are a little bit hard to see. You can barely make out what the buttons actually do. For those who, if you're in your car and it's low light, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time seeing what these actual buttons do. You have volume, you have a pretty decent port here to charge it with a micro USB port. It's got a 16th male jack for output to another device. You can actually hook up 2 of these if you'd like. It's a pretty solid feel to it. It's pretty beefy. It's got a triangular carabiner, I guess is what it's called. It's custom. It's not like any carabiner I've ever seen. It's almost kind of funky in a way, but what we're going to do is we're going to review this, and we're going to review the Polk Boom Jr. This is what it looks like. It's a little bit smaller in size. We're going to review the way both of these sound. It's not going to be a overly technical approach to testing the sound. What we're going to do is we're going to play a song, the same song, with both speakers. We're going to go right into the camera. Nothing crazy. It'll just give you a little idea on how they sound. You will read in reviews that the sound from these things are not that overly great. I mean, they're mono speakers, right? So you're not going to expect really monumental sound out of these things. This one, the Polk, though, what's kind of cool about the Polk is that it has what's called a passive radiator, which means that there is a secondary speaker in this thing. So it's from what they say is that it's able to create a little bit more bass. Based on my experience, there is some pretty decent bass. In fact, there's so much that if you play this on the table, maybe on a hard surface, maybe like a granite counter, it will literally vibrate itself off. So you have to keep an eye on it because the bass is so powerful. The JBL, I've only listened to it a couple times. It's not bad, but based on my experience, the powerful bass isn't there because this one does not have what's called a passive radiator in it. So you don't get that bass. But regardless, we're going to test the sound. So hang tight and we'll do it right now. Okay, so we're going to turn on the JBL. I'll turn it on right now. Does this funky guitar sound when it turns on. You hear that acknowledgement. I've already set this up with Bluetooth. It should be connected. I'll check it now. I'm using my crappy iOS old 5S iPhone. Super old, has the current software on it. Now okay, so here we are. I have my phone turned on. I logged in. I'm going to hit settings, and I've already connected this to my phone. It's almost like Wi-Fi, where you go to a new location and you enter the Wi-Fi password, and it sort of remembers the settings for that Wi-Fi connection. It's the same thing. After initially connecting to the JBL, it remembers it. So if you disconnect, if you turn off the JBL, it will still show as a device that's available. Okay. So I'm going to turn it on now and hit this on button. Get that weird guitar sound and then the activation. And as soon as you do that, look, it says connected on my phone. So it connected. Okay, so now I'm going to let you know that we're roughly at 75% volume, and I've got this device approximately 3 feet away. I'll say 2.5 feet away from the camera mic. Okay, here we go. This is full bore, full bore. Okay, so there's the JBL Clip 2. I'm going to turn it off, and we're going to fire up the other one. Okay, it's turned off. Now we have the Polk. Here's the Polk Boom Jr. Okay, same principle, same type of product. It's a little bit smaller. We'll turn it on and we'll try to hear the difference. Here we go. Turn it on. As soon as you turn it on, you definitely get some vibration coming out of it. It kind of wakes you up in a way. It's kind of cool. Here we go with the Swimmer Jr. Here we go. 75% volume. The buttons are difficult because they're really hard to see. Gray on black. This one is even harder than the Clip 2. There is no paint on the rubber at all. It's only like these shapes, rubber shapes. Here we go. Full blast now. Yeah, it's not much different. Okay, so there you have it. That's full blast at 2.5 feet with the Swimmer Jr., the Boom Swimmer Jr. Impressions with the sound. I think the JBL is louder, significantly louder, and it's probably because the surface of the woof of the speaker is larger. The Junior seems to have a little bit more robust bass to it. Big time. I would say that it's significant, and it's probably because it has the passive radiator inside of it. I actually opened up this shell to see the insides of this thing, and the card would get in the way of a passive radiator for this one, and I think that's the reason why it does not have one. I think if JBL or Harman came out with a version 3, if they could get a passive radiator inside the speaker, it would blow away the Junior. I will say, based on my opinion, what do I think is better in respect to sound? I'm going to say the JBL is better. I think the bottom line is I don't think there's a difference. The difference is not close. They're so close in respect to sound, in sound performance. I don't think it is. I don't think it should be a decision maker for you if you're interested in buying one of these. So again, I'm leaning towards the JBL. Jake is leaning towards the Polk. The differences are so minute that really I don't think you're going to see much of a difference. Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to the next chapter, which is the characteristics of waterproofing. Okay. Okay, so water resistance, waterproof. They're both made out of a rubber, resistant rubber. The jacks for the mini USB port both are designed in such a way that they will not let water inside. They're both pretty tight in respect to that. They both have a IPX rating of 7, and what that is IPX is a waterproofing rating, and I'm going to read you what IPX is, and I'm going to start from IPX 1 to just explain to you what this stuff is. So IPX 0, if these were made out of toilet paper, these would be 0. 1 drop of water on either one of these things and they would just die. Okay, that's 0. 1 is just a few drops of rain, just a trickle of water on them, and they would be fine. Resistant to some rain would be IPX 2. Resistance to rain at an angle would be IPX 3. Heavy rain resistance would be IPX 4. IPX 5 would be a super soaker type water placed on them. They would be fine. IPX 6 is a garden hose type of stream of water hitting them directly. And then at this point we cross over to full waterproof resistance, meaning you can actually dip these things in water. These are IPX 7, and what that rating claims is that they can be submersed into up to 1 meter of water. That's 3 feet. And if they were IPX 8, that would mean that they could be submersed into water like a pool over 1 meter. So what we're going to do is we are going to turn these on, and we're going to put them in liquid on camera to prove that these are truly waterproof. Okay, it's time for the water test. Jake, if you would, please fill up this container for us. And this is showing you that this is 100% sodium chloride. No, it's just water. Alright, there it is. IPX 7, and we're going to turn it on and we are going to dip it in this liquid. Here we go. Music on. Here we go. Here we go. It's actually playing.
Dang. Wow.
It's loud. You can hear it through the water.
It's shaking the table.
Totally. Now I'm going to take it out.
Sounds a little strange. Sounds a little... Alright, it's sounding good again.
Completely clean.
Wow.
There you have it.
IPX7.
IPX7. 100% in compliance. Okay,
Awesome.
now that works great.
Wow.
Okay, that's a success. Okay, now we have the JBL Clip 2. Here we go. Turn on the music.
Wow, it floats.
Look at the water spraying out of there. Look at that. See that?
Wow. Let's get a close up on
Can you
that.
get under it? Look at that.
Nice.
The Polk doesn't do that at all. But that's pretty cool.
The Polk sinks, right?
I imagine the speaker must be made of a plastic versus a cardboard like the old speakers used to be. This is almost like a plastic material. There's no way it would hold up in water if it wasn't. Okay, so as you can see, 100% submerged into water. As far as I'm concerned, that is waterproof. Nothing's 100% waterproof naturally, but this is IPX7 waterproof, up to 1 meter. All right, cool. Okay, so let's clean up our gear here. We'll take the water off the table. Put that down there. Take the towel off. Okay, so in respect to making your decision on which one of these you want to buy, you can't really base your decision on the IPX rating. They both passed with flying colors. I'll have you know they both float, so if you're on a boat and you drop it in the water, if you're canoeing or fishing, whatever, and you drop one of these in the water, they will float. They're both airtight, okay, so they will both float. Now I'd like to move into another subject, and that is how these things hang, the hardware that is used to hang them on whatever, okay. I'm going to talk about this one first. The Boom Jr swimmer, or whatever it's called, the Polk device, has this great tail on it. Inside there's some soft metal. I'm guessing it's probably copper, maybe. It's some kind of soft metal, and it makes for a fantastic hanger because you can literally attach it to anything. It's got a little belt buckle loopy thing here, so you can actually tighten it on some things like a pole or your rear view mirror. You can actually tighten it up pretty well, and my finger's not a good example, but you can actually cinch it around things. And another benefit is if you put it on something that's fairly large in diameter like my arm, right? You can do that, right? But the JBL has a carabiner and it's a customized shape. I think now this is where they messed up because the Polk is better than this. This is like I think the designers put look over function on this one, okay? You can only get this around something that's three quarters of an inch in diameter or less. Other than that, you're screwed. You can't hang it on it unless you use maybe some string or something. So in that respect, this is where the Boom Jr swimmer excels because it has this really cool attachment thingy tail on it. And so that is a significant benefit, I think, between the two devices. Okay, now we're going to talk about battery life. The Clip 2 by JBL has 10 hours, based on the manual, 10 hours of battery life. And the Swimmer Jr has 8. Now, the ratings around the internet favor the JBL for this reason. The reason why the ratings aren't as great for the Polk Boom Jr swimmer is because some people have experienced problems with battery life on the Boom Jr swimmer. They claim that the battery only works for a little while and then basically dies. I don't know if that has anything to do with the first iteration of the device, but I personally have not experienced that. Mine has been working fine. I've had it now for, I don't know, about 5 months, and it's worked fine. Both will not work as well in cold. If you're on the East Coast up north, the lithium batteries do not function as well in cold, so you keep that in mind. So in that respect, JBL Clip 2 wins. Okay, it wins over the Swimmer Jr. Okay, so I would like to pose my opinion on both these devices. I'm going to say that the JBL Clip 2 is my favorite choice. It is a little bit more money at close to anywhere between 45 to 50 bucks. The Boom Jr. Swimmer, I think, is around $40, $30, depending on where you get it. But the loudness of it and the fact that it has a solid battery life, I think outweighs the lousy carabiner on the top of it. And so that would be my first choice. This would be my first choice. I believe that the JBL Clip 2 is the winner in respect to what speaker is better. This is Scott from Bluetooth Breakdown. What we're going to do is we're going to give away some hardware from time to time. Simply add your email to bluetoothbreakdown.com/giveaway. That's GIVEAWAY. There will be a simple form asking for your name and email. We will make notification via your email. We'll let you know when we'll have the giveaway. We're going to do it live on YouTube. Sign up and you'll be on the list. This is Scott from Bluetooth Breakdown. We'll see you next time.